What we did on a holiday is a funny, uplifting, and slightly weird comedy about life.
Are you okay back there?
I am grand apart from the sand up my arse.
Well, that's just rude.
This movie is about a dysfunctional Scottish family who go to see their 75-year-old grandfather for his birthday. It has a very simple setup, but it gets complicated because all these real-life things get in the way. What I like about this movie is that the real-life problems it presents, they never feel shoved in there. For instance, there's a scene where the parents are talking about an imminent breakup and they're debating over when they should tell the kids. For a moment, in the back of my mind, I was thinking they're probably going to drag this plot point out, aren't they? No, no, no. Instead, in the next scene, they're actually telling the kids, and the kids don't get it, so they have to explain it to them. And it's moments like those that let the movie's funny writing take over. Speaking of funny, the characters in this movie are really good. They're all memorable, they're all funny, and their conversations work off each other in clever, snappy ways. The show stealers for me by far were the kids. They were hilarious. They all have these weird, unusual quirks to them, but they still feel like kids. And whenever they get exposed to something they didn't understand, the writing would take advantage of it for some really good jokes. Another favorite of mine is the grandfather character himself. Goy McLeod is a kind of mad but also wise old man. He seems to get the kids and even gives them some weird words of wisdom that I think anybody can take to heart. There's this one little scene at the beach where he gives the youngest of the three a memorable line that I will never forget, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. But, despite all the lighthearted stuff, underneath it's actually quite a dark movie. The main one being that the parents argue a lot, and that's the thing that's tearing them apart. However, this also ends up being one of the movie's strengths. The darker parts feel real. None of the people in this movie are bad, they're just conflicted and they let their emotions get in the way. Which leads me to the main thing that I liked about this movie. It manages to find an optimistic viewpoint on life despite all the horribleness in the background. And despite said horribleness, it manages to find a happy ending to leave on, and for that, it deserves to be called uplifting. There are, of course, some things I didn't like about this movie. For one thing, the editing in the first third of the movie is a little bit jumpy. Also, in the first third of the movie, some of the cinematography is a little weird. It also feels longer than it really is. It's only about 95 minutes long, but it feels longer because there's so much stuff that's happening in it. But despite its small flaws, I enjoyed what we did on our holiday. It's funny, philosophical, engaging, it does drag a little, but overall leaves you with a good feeling at the end.